Introducing our third man in the ring, our referee in charge of the action, Thomas Taylor.
As Terence Crawford, the undefeated fighter from right here in Omaha, and he has this city abuzz, I assure you.
Okay.
So, Canelo Alvarez!
To give the instructions.
Let's go. I tell you one thing, I've never seen two guys introducing our third man in the ring like this. The referee in charge of the action tonight, Thomas Taylor. There's Terence "Bud" Crawford, the undefeated technician from right here in Omaha, Nebraska. And let me tell you, this city, this entire sport is absolutely buzzing because of him. And on the other side, the man who needs no introduction, Canelo Alvarez. Fight night at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas didn't just feel electric. It felt alive. Like the building itself was breathing with 70,000 plus souls packed under those blinding lights. Flags waved like a battlefield. Mexican green, white, and red clashed with American stars and stripes. Chants rolled in waves. Canelo! Canelo! Versus pockets of Bud Bud. The air smelled of popcorn, beer, sweat, and pure anticipation. This wasn't just another title fight. This was a generational earthquake. Imagine this. One man carried over a decade of Mexican pride on his shoulders. A living legend who had conquered multiple divisions, stared down demons, and built an empire through sheer will, power, and Mexican heart. Canelo Alvarez wasn't just fighting for belts anymore. He was fighting to protect his throne. On the opposite side stood a quiet assassin from Omaha, Terence "Bud" Crawford, undefeated, switch hitter, a boxer puncher so precise, so adaptable that experts had already whispered his name as the true pound-for-pound king. But he had never stepped into the fire against a force quite like Canelo. Power versus precision, experience versus elite skill. The established king against the hungry wolf ready to tear history apart. This wasn't a fight, this was mythology in the making. The kind of clash that boxing fans argue about for decades, like Ali Frazier, or the epic wars that defined eras. The crowd knew it. The fighters knew it. And as the cameras swept across that roaring sea of humanity, one truth hung heavy in the desert air. Tonight, someone's legacy would be rewritten forever. Backstage, the tension was thick enough to cut with a glove. Canelo sat in his locker room like a statue carved from granite, calm, almost zen. His team moved around him in hushed efficiency. He wrapped his own hands with that familiar, deliberate ritual, each layer of gauze a reminder of every war he'd survived. His eyes, ice cold. He wasn't just preparing for a fight. He was visualizing every feint, every counter, every moment he would break his opponent's will. His warm-up was compact, economical, a predator who had learned that wasting energy early is how legends fall. Every punch in the air carried bad intentions, but he conserved like a champion who knows exactly how long 12 brutal rounds truly feel. Across the hall, Crawford paced like a caged panther, no wasted motion, shadow boxing in sharp bursts, switching seamlessly from orthodox to southpaw with that signature fluidity that made coaches drool. Jab, slip, counter, angle, off. He wasn't just warming up, he was rehearsing the perfect storm. You could see the focus in his eyes. Cold, calculating, and utterly confident. This was a man who believed skills truly do pay the bills. The walkouts hit different. Canelo entered first. The stadium detonated. Over 70,000 voices became one thunderous roar as Mexican flags turned the entire venue into a living tricolor ocean. Red, white, and green everywhere. His walk was measured, powerful, shoulders back, chin high, the stride of a man who had walked into hell many times and walked out victorious. The music boomed. The pyro exploded. He climbed through the ropes like he owned the building. Because for years, he basically had. Then came Crawford. No dancing, no theatrics. Just pure, razor-sharp focus. His expression was stone. The Omaha native moved with quiet menace, an aura that screamed, "I don't need the show, I am the show." The contrast was electric. The people's champion versus the silent technician. When both men finally stood face to face at center ring, the noise became almost unbearable. Phones flashed like stars. The referee delivered instructions, but honestly, nobody was listening. Two warriors locked eyes, respect mixed with pure competitive fire. History wasn't just knocking, it was about to kick the door down. Round 1. The bell rang and the chess match with gloves began. Canelo wasted zero time. He stalked forward with that signature pressure, cutting off the ring like a seasoned hunter. His first targets? The body. Those heavy, thudding shots meant to drain the life out of Crawford's legs early. Crawford circled smoothly on the outside, that piston-like jab snapping out like a whip. Pop, pop. He made Canelo miss, then made him pay with quick disruptive counters. Mid-round, Canelo uncorked a heavy right hand to the ribs. The sound echoed through the stadium, a meaty thud that made 70,000 people gasp in unison before exploding into cheers. For a split second, the arena went quiet, then roared even louder. But Crawford, he didn't flinch, not even a little. He answered immediately with short, crisp lefts and rights that broke Canelo's rhythm and forced him to reset. The round closed with both men trading in the center. Power bombs from Canelo versus surgical precision from Crawford. Balance, tension. The fight was alive. Round 2 opened with Canelo doubling down on aggression. He cut off the ring beautifully, forcing Crawford into tighter quarters where his power could do real damage. Midway through, a punishing left hook to the ribs visibly pushed Crawford backward for the first time. The crowd smelled blood. Mexican chants swelled, yet Crawford flashed that sly, knowing grin. The look of a fighter who had just solved the first layer of the puzzle. He slipped a jab with millimeter precision and cracked a sharp right hand straight down the pipe. Canelo's head snapped back violently. The momentum suddenly uncertain. Canelo showed raw power. Crawford showed elite intelligence. Round 3 turned into a high-level chess match with fists flying. Canelo advanced methodically, digging those trademark body shots designed to slow down those lightning-quick legs. But Crawford adjusted on the fly, something he's always been scary good at. He floated around the perimeter, switching stances effortlessly. Southpaw, flicking jabs that snapped Canelo's head back like a Pez dispenser. Orthodox, stinging right hands that scored clean. They clashed in the center with furious flurries. Canelo's heavy hooks whistling past ears, Crawford's counters landing flush on the button. By the bell, the shift was undeniable. Crawford wasn't surviving. He was starting to dictate. Round 4, Canelo came out breathing fire. He wanted to reassert dominance immediately. Heavy hooks to the body, straight rights upstairs, left hooks digging into the midsection. Crawford slowed just a touch, and Canelo smelled it. Then came the moment that made the entire stadium gasp. A massive right hand from Canelo crashed against Crawford's temple. Bud's legs buckled for a heartbeat. The crowd erupted, some in hope, some in shock. But Crawford is never more dangerous than when he's hurt. He fired back instantly with a perfectly timed uppercut that split Canelo's guard and rattled the Mexican's chin. Chaos erupted. Both men stood toe-to-toe in the center, trading vicious blows. Canelo throwing bombs that could end careers. Crawford answering with surgical, fight-changing counters. The bell rang and the entire arena was on its feet screaming. This was no longer a fight. This was a war. Round 5 brought suffocating pressure. Canelo pressed forward relentlessly, those body shots landing with sickening thuds, but Crawford's jab had evolved into a sniper rifle. Snapping into Canelo's face with scary accuracy, keeping the bigger man at bay. Mid-round, Crawford stepped inside a looping hook and landed a crisp left-hand flush on the jaw. Canelo froze, just for a split second, but the entire stadium saw it. The roar was deafening. Crawford stayed composed, peppering with more clean combinations. This was turning into a brutal war of attrition. Who had the deeper gas tank? Who could endure when the lights felt hottest? Round 6, the pace quickened dangerously. Canelo charged in explosive bursts, but his accuracy began deserting him against Crawford's elite head movement and slippery footwork. Bud darted in and out like a ghost, tagging Canelo with jabs and quick counters that accumulated damage. The stylistic clash was now crystal clear for everyone watching. Canelo was hunting for one fight-ending bomb. Crawford was chipping away, punch by precise punch, slowly taking the soul out of the champion. The crowd was split, half chanting for the Mexican Idol, half starting to believe in the Omaha underdog story. Round 7, exhaustion started whispering in both men's ears. Canelo's once explosive movements slowed. His punches still carried thunder, but they lacked that early explosive snap. Crawford pounced like a predator who had waited patiently. He slipped a lazy jab and unleashed a blistering 3-punch combo. Jab, straight left, then a whoppering right hook that cracked across Canelo's jaw with vicious intent. Canelo stumbled. The arena lost its mind. Crawford followed up with another quick flurry, his hands a blur. Canelo fired back with heavy leather. The kind that had broken lesser men, but Crawford's defense swallowed most of it, and his counters punished every opening. By the bell, Crawford walked back to his corner with visible confidence. Canelo sat heavier on his stool, chest heaving. For the first time all night, the torch didn't just look like it might pass, it looked like it was already on the move. Round 8. The crowd was standing before the bell even sounded. 70,000 voices merged into one deafening primal roar that shook the stadium foundations. Canelo rose with pure warrior spirit, but his body betrayed the damage. Ribs swollen, breathing labored, eyes showing the wear of war. Crawford? Calm. Calculated. Eyes locked like a laser. They went straight to war again. Canelo unleashed furious combinations to both body and head, desperate to swing the tide. But Crawford's composure was ironclad. He blocked, slipped, parried, and answered with sharp, clean shots that kept landing. Then came the defining sequence of the entire fight. Canelo lunged forward with a big looping right hand, the kind that had ended many nights. Crawford read it like an open book. He slipped inside and fired a devastating straight right down the middle that cracked Canelo flush on the chin. The follow-up left hook was even nastier. It staggered the longtime champion onto shaky legs. The arena absolutely exploded. Crawford smelled blood and pressed the attack. Crisp jabs, sharp hooks, uppercuts slicing through the guard. Canelo's back hit the ropes. His counters turned wild and desperate. For the final 30 seconds, Crawford commanded the ring like a maestro. The bell rang just in the nick of time, possibly saving Canelo from a dramatic stoppage. Both men staggered to their corners, drenched in sweat, faces marked with the story of a true classic. They had just delivered a battle destined for the highlight reels of boxing history. The championship rounds unfolded like a thriller. Canelo dug deep into that legendary Mexican warrior spirit, finding reserves most fighters never possess. He landed heavy shots that would have dropped lesser men, but Crawford's ring IQ and adaptability were on another level tonight. He switched stances at perfect moments, used angles like a mathematician, and never let Canelo find consistent rhythm. Every time Canelo appeared to mount a comeback, Crawford had an answer. A counter, a pivot, a jab that disrupted everything. The later rounds became a masterclass in elite boxing IQ versus raw heart and power. The crowd was hoarse from screaming. Phones were out everywhere, capturing what felt like a changing of the guard in real time. By the final bell, both men had given absolutely everything. They stood center ring, chests heaving, faces bruised and swollen, gloves touching in mutual respect. Two warriors who had just pushed each other to new heights. The arena fell into a tense hush as the announcer stepped forward. Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of absolute warfare, we go to the scorecards. Thousands held their breath, hearts pounded louder than the earlier roars. All three judges score the contest. 116, 112, 115, 113, and 115, 113. For your winner by unanimous decision and the new undisputed super middleweight champion of the world, Terence Bud Crawford, Pandemonium. The stadium erupted in a mix of disbelief, celebration, and stunned silence from Canelo's loyal supporters. Crawford raised his arms high, the unified belt soon draped over his shoulders. Canelo nodded with class and respect, a true champion acknowledging a better man on this night. In the post-fight interview, Canelo remained the ultimate sportsman. He was sharper tonight. I gave it everything I had, but Crawford was the better fighter. That's boxing. I'll be back. Crawford, calm, proud, and still undefeated, delivered the mic drop line the world was waiting for. I told everybody, skills pay the bills. Tonight, I proved it on the biggest stage. Social media instantly exploded. Twitter, X, Instagram, TikTok, everywhere. Was this the official passing of the torch? Had Terence Crawford just cemented himself as the undisputed pound-for-pound king of his era? Debates raged. Some called it a robbery. Most praised the brilliance of Bud's performance. Analysts broke down every angle, every counter, every adjustment. As the stadium slowly emptied into the glittering Las Vegas night, the energy still crackled in the air. Canelo Alvarez, the longtime king, who had ruled with an iron fist and an unbreakable will, walked away knowing his throne had been seriously shaken. Yet his legacy, untouchable. A Mexican icon who inspired millions and redefined what heart looks like in this brutal sport. Terence "Bud" Crawford, he left as the man on top of the boxing mountain. Still undefeated, now undisputed at super middleweight. His name forever etched alongside the greats. He hadn't just beaten Canelo Alvarez, he had conquered an era. Fans spilled out into the streets, buzzing with one repeating question that will echo for years. After conquering Canelo, who in the world can possibly stop Terence "Bud" Crawford? If you felt that fight in your chest like I did, smash that like button right now. Also, watch your os vibrate. It helps the channel more than you know. Subscribe to Boxing is Here for more raw extended fight breakdowns, deep tactical analysis, historical deep dives, and the biggest stories in the sweet science. Turn on post notifications so you never miss when we drop the next banger. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Who did you have winning? Was this the real passing of the torch? And who should Bud fight next? Until next time, keep your hands up and your chin down. Peace.